the Ultra 5 125H CPU, 16GB of DDR5 RAM and a 512GB SSD, the Khadas Mine 2 is a powerful mini PC, but on top of that it's also a modular PC that you can add peripherals to, including a 4060 Ti GPU, so hit subscribe now and we'll see just what this thing can do. Now, full disclosure before we get started though, the video is sponsored by Khadas, and they've sent me the Mine 2 to showcase to you guys. So quickly, before we turn it on, we'll take a look at its design, and as you can see, it's nice and slim, and it's also got a sleek look to it, and it's also very lightweight, coming in at just 435 grams. Now on the rear, we've got a Thunderbolt 4 port and a USB 4 port, we've got two USB-A ports which are USB 3.2, and then I'm really happy to see a full-size HDMI port. Now I'll be using the HDMI for this video, but for those of you with monitors that support fast charging over 65 watts, you can use a single USB-C cable for the display and charging at the same time. Finally, we've got the bespoke port on the bottom, and this is where you can attach more peripherals like a dock, an eGPU, and even a portable monitor. Now the port is called the MindLink and it supports 256 gigatransfers per second, and this is a very impressive speed, and it's to add these expansions, keep everything running very fast, as well as a simple plug and play solution. So let's go ahead and turn the Mine 2 on, and booting into Windows it takes around 11 seconds, and after installing all of the updates I was left with 474GB of usable space. Now as you can see, it comes pre-installed with Windows 11 Home 23H2, and this model is powered by Intel's Ultra 5 125H with 16GB of RAM, but there are more premium versions you can buy with 32GB or 64GB of RAM, and these two are powered by the Ultra 7 155H processor. Now for those concerned with benchmarking, I ran it through Cinebench 2024 and it scored 629 for multi-core and then 24 for single-core performance, and it had a ratio of 25.8. I also ran it through 3D Mark Still Nomad, and here it scores 2456 with a frame rate of 18.2, and then over on the 3D Mark Storage benchmark it scored 2169 with an average bandwidth of 372 megabytes a second. Now unfortunately, I don't have the Mind graphics add-on, and this adds a 4060 Ti GPU which is going to deliver much better GPU performance, but even without that you can still do some gaming thanks to the iGPU, and I did some testing with games like Rocket League and GTA 5, and I had a fun time playing them and they also performed well, and here's some examples of the gameplay direct from the Mind 2. For me though, my main use for a portable computer is productivity, so I've done some testing with the applications that I personally use quite often. First up, we've got Premiere Pro, and I was able to edit my 4K timeline with the effects enabled, although I have reduced the resolution preview to 1/8. Now the footage of me talking here is H.264 4K footage with a 200 megabit per second bitrate, so it is quite a difficult thing to edit, but as you can see here, the performance is pretty good, so it's a great option when working away. And we also use a lot of Photoshop, mainly for making my thumbnails, and again it performs as well as you'd expect. I've used Photoshop a lot here, and even transforming things, working on multiple layers and some high resolution images, everything is just smooth and a pleasure to use. Now finally, I tried Blender for some 3D modeling that I do to create the concept trailers that you guys see, and I'm able to easily work and create the 3D scenes, although it does take a long time to render them out, which is to be expected with CPU rendering. And again, this is where the Mind graphics add-on would come in, as the RTX 4060 Ti would make this a much better machine for portable rendering on the go, but for now it's no problem, as I just make the models here when I'm away on the mini PC, and I can send them over to my main workstation if I need to render them out. Now if we take a look inside the Mind 2, you can see there's not really anything upgradable in here apart from the NVMe SSD. We've also got a 5.55 watt-hour battery, which is a low capacity for the Mind 2's power output, but the reason for this is the battery's more to protect against power interruption or when you're moving it around, and it's not really designed to be used on battery only, although you can do this for a short period of time if you wish, but it's only going to last about half an hour. Now this can all be configured using the Mind app that comes pre-installed with the Mind 2, and you can select between hibernate, sleep, or just use as battery when there's no power source plugged into the Mind 2. Now we can also do plenty of other stuff in here, like select a power mode. We can enable smart charging to protect the longevity of the battery. We've got a driver update section that makes it really easy to come in here and update all of the different drivers for the different components we've got in the Mind 2. And then under the device upgrade, you can upgrade both Windows version as well as the BIOS. Now if we take a look in Task Manager, you can see that the Ultra 5 CPU is running at a base speed of 3.6 GHz, and it also confirms that we've got 16 GB of RAM, which is running at 6400 MHz. And as I don't have the Mind Graphics add-on, you can see I'm using the iGPU with 9 GB of shared memory. Now when it comes to general use of the system for browsing the web, looking through social media or playing video files, it performs well exactly as you'd expect. The web pages are fast and responsive and everything is just smooth and snappy. Streaming media through sites like YouTube also work really well. When checking the stats, everything is healthy with no dropped frames. Media playback has also been great on the device itself, and I've tried plenty of formats and codecs and they all worked well. When it comes to the unboxing experience, we've got a nice well-packaged box. If you open it up, we first get the Khadas Mind 2 on top. Underneath that, we've got the manuals and the warranty documentation. Then underneath that, we've got the USB-C cable, which is also a nice braided cable. And then finally, we've got the power brick, and mine here is the UK plug as I'm based in the UK. Now overall, the Mind 2 is a great mini PC, and especially for those of you that want a plug and play solution to add things like an external GPU. And the good thing here is you could buy the Mind 2 now, and then maybe your budget doesn't allow or you don't need something like the GPU yet, but it gives you the option to add it in the future, whereas other stuff may not be quite so simple. And other than that, it's not just a GPU, and this MindLink bespoke high-speed port also offers a separate dock as well as a portable display with a battery, so it makes things much more versatile and useful than a normal PC. Now the PC itself is well built, and the USB-C cable means that you should always be able to find a power source, and the battery is a great addition because when the power goes out and I'm in the middle of some work, I don't lose all the data. Now the overall look is nice and sleek, and it also feels very well built. It's strong and sturdy, so I've got no worries about transporting it around in my bag. Now of course, I've placed the link for the Mind 2 down in the description below, so you can go ahead and grab yours today. And I hope I've covered everything for you guys in today's video, but if there's anything I've missed or you've got any questions at all, then just ask them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest tech.